Good evening, everybody. I thank God for this day. I thank God for this time. Today, some time this week, last week, I woke up and a voice was telling me, do not go from the protection zone. And I said, now, what is a protection zone? I want to speak today about not going away from the protection zone. In this time, we want to keep ourselves safe. And the first thing I did was to think about what a protection zone is. And I was reminded that, oceans, beaches are supposed to have protection zones. When you swim beyond in the ocean, if you swim beyond the protection zone, you drown. And zoos and game parks, they all have protection zones. You go beyond, you are swallowed up. Even for electricity, when there are places you can't construct because if you are there, the rays will get into your body and you'll fall sick. And I thought, well, God needs us to be in a protection zone in this world at this time when everything is so dangerous. And I said, well, God protects us in every way. The first protection is when you give yourself to Christ to save your life. You enter a protection zone of eternal life, of many benefits. But if you stop just there are many things you will not be protected from. So I want us to read in Psalms 34 from verse 4, and then I continue. And it starts, I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto him, and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. The poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around about them that fear him, and deliver them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me, I'll teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is he that desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking evil. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. I will stop on 17. The righteous cry, and the Lord hears, and delivers them out of all their troubles. So we know that God protects us from so many things. From salvation, he protects our prosperity, he protects our health, he protects our security, he protects our jobs, he protects us from going to hell, He's our healer. He protects us from sickness and diseases and plagues and pestilences like the one going on right now. The Lord will surely protect us because that's his word. And one of the ways that he protects us is through his word, which is the truth. When we have his word, we are protected. When we have his joy, we are protected from sadness. He's our deliverer when we are in danger. He's our strength from our weaknesses. But we have a duty. He protects us from all things in life that are negative. But we have a duty. We have a duty to call on his name at all times, to praise and worship him, to dwell in his presence, to surrender all to him. There are so many psalms that speak about dwelling in his presence. We look to him and else. We only have to believe in one God, the God who is the supreme God of all things, because he will deliver us from all our troubles. He will deliver us even from this COVID. He will deliver us even from many other sicknesses, even from hunger. Right now, many people are not having a meal on their table. But where do you think their help will come from, except from God, and from God through us humans? And that brings me to the next point, that God protects us, but we have a part to play. We have to love God with all our hearts, our minds, and our souls. And we have to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. The highest level of how we can show God that we love him is when we obey his word, when we put everything as nothing and trust that God in his highest place is can do all things, can provide for us, can give us strength, can help us go through the fires and the waters and everything, the winds. You know, in Japan, they built a powerful nuclear plant. And at the inauguration, they said that we have observed everything because they insulated it against winds, against the earthquake, against any tsunami, against any high fires, high temperatures. They thought out everything. So they said that with this nuclear plant, we don't need God. We don't need anyone. We are okay. We are independent. We can provide everything. If the sun doesn't shine, we shall just use the nuclear power. If it is too cold, we shall use the nuclear power for our industries. So a few months later, God did what they didn't plan for. He brought the winds, the tsunami, and the earthquake. And the earthquake started from the waters because they have even catered for the tsunami. So the three things came and the plant was crushed. And the photograph that we saw, there was a church in that place. And the place where the cross was, the pulpit was the only place that survived. So people started going there to pray. And the effect of that crash was so big because they thought they had protected, they had distanced the people. But when that happened, many people were affected, though they kept it quiet. But with God, it just shows that with God, there is nothing you can plan that he cannot stop. And if COVID is still continuing, there must be something he wants us to do with his children, because he brings everything for a purpose. He knows every weakness we have. He knows what we lack. He knows our abilities. Can't you wonder that Africa, with all its poverty, its diseases, its bad health institutions, its poor hygiene, you know, they are the ones who are having less infections and less death. What is God showing us? That, you know, we can plan, we can be clean, we can bring what, but he's still supreme. Anything can happen. We've been hearing of some people we know, they had mansions, they had more than, they had beach houses, they had townhouses, they had village houses. But now they can't afford any of them. They are moving to smaller houses, trying to sell. No one is buying. They have no food. The money has lost value. They're outside where we have been crying to go. And you wonder, what is God saying? What does he want us to do? Just to show Africa, you know, you are adequate. You are not insufficient. I put you in Africa for a purpose. I didn't make a mistake. It's not for you to go outside there and do funny jobs. You can make it, and you have enough health institutions just within you. You have enough food. You are not going outside because you lack, but because of ignorance. And God is bringing us to a platform where we will need to sit down and think. I was thinking this week, I was really in deep thinking about, really, it was prophesied over Kawempe Worship Center, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but many times, that we are going to be rich, we shall have wisdom, and we are going to be famous. Then I said, but when you look at the world, how it's looking, it's like, is this a mirage? Is it something we cannot have? But as I kept thinking, my mind was deep, went deep, and I realized, actually, for us, the blacks, the Ugandans, the Africans, to go to the US, to Europe, and preach the gospel effectively and bless those people, something had to happen to make sure that they will be receptive. Because already there's that inferiority complex. There's something, our other pastors had gone there just to seek money. But now God wants us to not to go there for money, but to preach to these people, to speak with them, to encourage them, to give them hope, to tell them something different. Because everyone, when you read in the media, the World Health Organization, every developed country is asking itself a question: why are the numbers down in Africa? Why are the numbers down? But just think deep within yourself. God is just trying to make a point. It's not about the good health institutions. It's not about being rich. It's not about having a big house. It's not about anything. It's about him. For everything that we do, he should come first. Everything else is nothing. That's what he's showing. People are lying with their gold in their houses. They cannot sell it. No one can buy it at a price. Yes, and cars are stationed down. The planes we used to say, huh? I used to hear pastors tell their papers, now you are going to fly this month. Yeah, you are getting your visa. You know, they no longer make meaning. Airlines are shutting down. They are sending away people. You would look at those pilots and you feel like, I wish my child would be a pilot, because you would There was a feeling, but now it was just a passing feeling. The ships, the ships are also many grounded. The factories are shutting down. And the robots, they were about to make of a robot to act as a human being. But what is happening? God is saying, I am still supreme. And whatever I say has to come to pass. What has God said to you as an individual? This time is for searching yourself, asking God, because much as He protects us, much as He gives us wisdom, we have to ask of Him. We have to ask Him, what's my position in these times? What am I supposed to be doing at this time? I was challenging some people and telling them, well, you might think you are lacking, things are tough, but are you sure your neighbor is having a meal? The basics. Are you sure your neighbor eh, is not on the verge of committing suicide? Have we gone out there and found out about our neighbors? Have we loved our neighbors really? The people we work with, the people, some people are really, really bad love in these conditions. And make it wider. What of those nations? What of those people who had many fleets of cars in their compounds? Even here, they can't drive them to go where? People built very powerful houses along the Lake Victoria beach, banks. They have been submerged. Everything. Banks are what? The money is falling. The people are banking less because people are living on what they don't know what to expect tomorrow. And here we are, Christians born again, protected by God. Surely, why should God save us from COVID-19? Why should we be the survivors? Yes, it is going to end, however long it takes. But if you are going to be among the numbers who survive it, what are you going to do? How are you going to make your step, your stamp on the world during this season? What are you going to tell your children, to tell their children and their grandchildren? That what did you do? You slept, you ate, we survived, just that? No, we are more than that. We are protected. We shall be protected against this, but for what purpose? That is God gaining anything out of you? Paul said, to live is Christ and to die is gain. What is your gain? To die is Christ, to live is gain. What is God gaining from your living? Are you doing anything worthwhile? The highest form of love we can show God is obedience. What has He said to you? How much of it have you implemented? The good thing with God is, as He gives you a task, He gives you also the power to implement it, the wisdom, the workers. When He told those people, when they wanted to build Him a temple, He's the one who directed. God so and so, He's gifted in this one here. What are we afraid of? Do we really believe? Are we trusting God in these times with our finances, with the things He has given us to do? How will our finances be protected, or how shall we prosper if we are fearing to help? We have a duty. We have to be useful. We need to see God at work. We need through us and in us. If we are still grumbling, if we are still complaining, if we are still thinking like the world is thinking, the world is coming to an end, What shall we do? This COVID, it will never go away, you know. These elections are becoming violent. People are going to die. Are we also thinking like that? Can we preach peace? Can we be peacemakers? Can we be providers? We need to take our positions and start possessing what they prophesied on us. Do you want wisdom? Do you know where you are going? Whatever you are doing, do you know how useful you'll be to Kawempe Worship Center? Or you are just waiting? Let them open the church, let them open churches, but for what? So that you go and dance? Are you going to be a useful member? What are you thinking? Just to see who lost weight, who gained weight, who is doing what? You know, now God has opened our eyes. Let's think of bigger things, mightier things than just going to church, sit, enjoy, greet one another and go away. What impact are you making? Why should God make you survive COVID? How special are you to him? Like he said, David was a man after his own heart. What is he saying about you? And no, the people who really loved God and obeyed, Noah, when he obeyed in amidst all the confusion, what are we doing? We have a prophecy over us. We have promises over us to become rich. Are we thinking of ways of addressing this situation that are coming up? The world will never be the same again. People are going to need different things. People are going to need, I'll give an example. We are buying things by courier now, and it's going to increase. What are you doing? How are you thinking? Are you going to stay in your stall and wait for buyers? Are you thinking of something bigger? Even people with schools, they should be thinking of something bigger than just students sitting in class, you know. Take a minute to think. Do you really want to be famous? People don't just become famous unless you are going to run. Even the runner plans. He goes into the hills and runs those hills like he's chasing after something, but he's really training. What are you training in? What are you preparing to do when things go back to normal? Are you going to be the usual you, lacking in everything? Are you widening? You know, I see people, I have seen teachers, by the way. Teachers are selling charcoal, they are selling potatoes, they are doing what? They are making bricks, they are thinking, what are you doing about your life, about the future, about these three promises we have? These things of Chitwale are over, those times are over. These days, a friend of mine was saying someone asked for some money. Then he said, you know, these days, before you pull 2,000, you really think, why should I give this person? What is she going to do it for it? And so on. It's not going to be like in the old days that I will walk around in church and ask for 1,000, and if I reach 3 people, they will just give me. It's tough now. People have realized things are not easy. And the ideas we have, are you going to write at least books about this time? Investigate something. What about the girls who are getting pregnant during this time? Are you doing something about it? What about the divorces, the women who and men who are separating? How are we going to help them? What are we going to say? And it's not going to be just words. People need now solid ground to stand on. Are you going to help? Are you going to encourage someone? What language are you going to use for that person in America who has lost everything, to encourage that person to know that there is God? The good thing, God does not lie. What God says, if he says he will deliver us from every trouble, that's what he is going to do. What are we doing about it? Are we quiet because some of us are safe, our jobs are safe? What are we waiting for to take possession of the promises of God? Isn't this the time when strife is high, the grace is higher? In good times, you sometimes you don't even remember that there is grace. But in these times, we need to change, and the only thing that will make us change is Psalms 25, verse 4. That's where I'm going to end. Let's open our Bible, Psalm 25 and verse 4. And it says, show me your way, O Lord, teach me your path. That's the prayer that I want each one of us to pray. Let God show us the path. Each one has a different path which they are supposed to follow to actualize what God promised us. Maybe for you, you'll be famous because of your wisdom. Maybe another one, it is wealth. Maybe another one, it is giving. Whatever, look for the path. What is the path God wants you to take in this season of trouble, of sickness, of lack, of loss of jobs? Are you just going to tell people God bless you? Or you are going to give them a hope in life? Are you going to give beyond even your means? Because that's what the Bible tells us to do. Are you going to worry about tomorrow, what you will eat, what you will put on? Or you are going to give the whole of yourself so that the works of God are seen through you? And may God bless you with that word. Back to Pastor.